All right. Welcome to Destination Station. As always, I'm Destin. You're a fan of this channel. You already know. Today, I have a very special guest, Mike Vaughn. He is the voice of Brandon James on the Scream TV series, and we're gonna interview him today. And if you have any questions or comments or anything, put it in the chat, and we'll see if we can get Mike to answer them. And I'm gonna go ahead and bring Mike in, and let's see what we can do here. Mike also it works on a lot of other different projects, and maybe he can fill us in on what he's got going on these days. So here we go. Hey, Mike,
Hello.
welcome to Destination Station,
Thanks for having me. How you doing?
dude. That voice is awesome. That voice is epic.
You can
I
have
was
that voice. It just costs you a couple cigars and some scotch, and you're good to go.
Oh well, then I
Yeah,
know what I'm going to pick up today.
there you go.
Um, yeah, so I was like looking at the IMDb and everything of the Scream TV series and your filmography. And I wanted to just ask you straight off the bat if you knew anything about like the process of like why they went the route they did with Scream 3 and kind of did away with the Brandon James story at all.
You mean season 3? Or
Yeah,
movie?
season
Yeah,
3.
season 3? I do. I
Yeah.
have a lot of insight on that actually, and I hope it's correct. This is all information from my reps and other people and things like that. So nothing is, I don't know if this comes from the head, but basically, we did season 1, and then it was almost a whole year before we knew that I was coming back as season 2. They shot once a year. So for seasons, that's kind of rare. That's kind of a big gap back in, pre-COVID days.
Hmm.
That's like a lot of time. And actors get nervous if you don't tell them, "Hey, yeah, we're definitely coming back." We kind of go, "Well, I'm not going to wait for it. I got to move on, right?" So, but except in voiceover, it's like you do everything, so whatever. So they did come back for season 2, and then season 2 ended, and then we're like, okay, we're probably gonna have to wait another year for season 3. Well, a year goes by, year 3 months go by, year 4 months go by. It's like, okay, this is dead. Like it's not coming back, and we didn't really hear anything. And then I think another year and a half, 2 years after that, it was like a 3-year gap, wasn't it, between season 2 and 3?
Yeah, it was something. It
It
was
was
it was at
long.
least two. It
It
was at
was
least
long.
two. Yeah.
And nobody I knew got asked to do season 3, and so basically the story goes, could be urban legend, but basically the story goes, season 2 ended, and that was all cast and crew for season 1 and 2.
Mhm.
Season 3, all new production company, all new crew, all new cast. Nobody from the other 2 were brought back. It was Queen Latifah's production company is what I heard.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
I don't know. So we heard nothing. We got asked nothing, and off they went. And they clearly went kind of a different direction totally. I don't know why they said season 3. That implies, you're continuing on with some through line, but there
Mhm.
was no through line. They could have called it Scream colon the TV series over in this town, or, they could have changed it.
Yeah.
I don't know why they did what they did, but basically it was just like, we heard nothing, we know nothing. But even if they did come back that late and say, "Hey, we want you cast and crew members to come back," the 2 leads, Willa Fitzgerald and Bex, they had already moved on to other series, other projects, other movies, so they weren't
Mhm.
even available, even if they did come back. Of course, I'm
Yeah.
available because I mean, what do? I go in for an hour,
You got the
and
best job of them all.
and I do, I really, really do. I didn't have to leave my house. Well, I did have to leave my house. I didn't have to leave the state. Um, so I don't know why they did what they did. My guess is all new production crew, all new cast and crew, and there is that Weinstein factor. And this
Mhm.
was about the time of the Me Too movement, and it was a Weinstein-backed project. So I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know.
So that kinda put a stink in everything, huh?
You'd be surprised how little we guys like voiceover is kind of considered post-production. It's after the
Mhm.
shoot. You'd be surprised how little we hear. Like it, I think I booked this gig 2 weeks before I had to go in the studio, maybe a week. So they had already filmed and everything.
Yeah.
So who knows? who knows?
I see that Willa Fitzgerald is actually
Mhm.
working on that what's that Amazon show Reacher, Jack Reacher
Mhm.
show. Yeah, I saw that she just started on that. She's doing pretty good on it. I've seen a few episodes.
Yeah, I think everybody's gone on to do lots of other things.
D- I
So,
so I'm curious if do you know anything? And before I have a little bit of a questionnaire, just kind of like a guideline here,
of
but
course, do your thing.
I'm a big nerd of all this stuff. But I was a huge fan of the TV series, and not
Why?
so much.
Why?
I don't know what it was. It was just I thought for a whodunit, for a slasher, I thought the story was actually very intriguing. The
Mm.
Brandon James story was actually very intriguing. I have my own theories about things, of how it would have played out. Do you know anything of like how they would have concluded everything?
They don't even know how they would have concluded everything
Oh,
because that's not how the business works. There
yeah,
may have been one or two writers that were like, well, here's how we'll move forward, maybe later and all that. But typically in TV, you ain't writing until you are paid, until they green light that next season. You are not writing and wasting your time. You are writing. I've been on a TV set where the writers spent their lunch break writing something else.
yeah,
So they are definitely not writing unless they're being paid for it, contracted out, because there other people will have their say too. Oh, I think
hmm
it should move. Some executives are gonna, it should move this direction. It should do that. We should feature this. We should feature that. So if they waste their time writing something for free and it just gets mangled, it's not going to happen.
yeah,
So maybe at the end they had and here's why this season ends here because we can do this, but they're certainly not going to share that with me. Or the actors or anybody. We're all under NDAs during production.
yeah.
And so I don't even think the writers know. I think you fans have sometimes better ideas and better insight than the people doing it do. So get your writing skills up, you viewers, and get to work in Hollywood. They need
So,
good
so,
writers.
so what you're telling us is it's all an afterthought.
I don't know. It's not an afterthought, but I'm not going to focus on this until my mortgage is paid. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
Or until
Yeah,
I can
yeah,
make my rent.
yeah,
So like I'm not gonna record video game lines until I have the gig. Now I'll do demos and I'll have
yeah.
fun, but no, I'm not gonna work on I'm not gonna do lines for a game that I'm currently working on unpaid.
So
So
we got a question here in the chat. So you would not know this answer.
probably not.
I
I can
want to know.
reiterate your rumors though. I can make you guys all feel good about what you've heard.
I want to know who everyone thinks killed Kieran. I don't know if you remember who Kieran was.
I didn't even think he got killed because the last scene, the last line, the last thing I ever did other than the Halloween special was him in the prison. When
Yeah,
did he die?
in the prison. Yeah,
While he's on the phone and the thing cuts away and then he's
yeah. I think he was in
okay.
the. If I remember correctly, he was in a jail cell. I think he got a call from the killer, from you, and
Was that
then
after the credits roll? Was that like the
I think
like?
it was. It was like an after
Oh,
credit
well,
scene or
that's why
something.
I missed it. Son of a bitch.
Yeah,
All right,
and it's
that's what
like
I
he.
get for being old and not paying attention. All right, sorry. Okay. Um, I honestly think the writers wrote this as, we'll see who killed him. We'll see. Did they tie that into season 3? I didn't watch season 3.
They
Did
did
they?
not. They
They
just took a
didn't.
totally
Oh,
different
what a
approach,
missed opportunity that it could have been
right?
the same. Yeah, that would have been fun.
Because Kieran was actually the killer. So somebody
Yeah,
killed the killer, you know?
yeah. Well, I mean, that was the whole gag. Season 1
Yeah.
was,
Yeah.
Piper was that
Piper.
Piper?
Yeah. The
And I knew.
podcaster.
Oh, see, now I didn't know even when I'm doing the series, I don't know who the killer is, like because I go into the studio and I don't get to watch the whole thing.
Mm,
I don't. I show up. There's lines in front of me. There's a big giant screen and a microphone, and there's speakers behind me, and they go beep beep beep, and I've got a time frame to fill it in, and so I'm doing 4 things at once, right?
yeah.
And I don't get to see the script except briefly while I'm going through my page. And sometimes they don't even give me a script, they give me a spreadsheet. So I had no idea who it was. I really honestly swear to God I didn't. And my wife got into the show. I'm like, hey, you want to watch what I just did? She goes, sure. She watched it. She goes, I love this. We're gonna watch the whole thing. I'm like, great. So we're watching it, and I like Law and Order. I'm always guessing who did it.
Mm,
I totally knew it was her. I knew it was her like the third episode in. I'm like, oh,
yeah.
it's her.
Yeah. Yeah, it was pretty obvious. I even with the second season, I was like, wow, this is kind of obvious that it I was hoping that it wasn't going to be Kieran because it was so obvious. Like
See, now you're hurting my feelings. So obvious. I thought I was very clever and smart. Now you're telling me I'm an idiot
well,
because I.
no, there was actually I remember a no, there was actually a scene where I think they were at a carnival or something,
Okay.
and he just comes out of like, hey, where y'all been? He wasn't even there, and I'm like, he's
I
here to
remember
save the
that. I
day.
remember that. I
Yeah,
remember that. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
and
But
I was like, hold on.
the thing I liked about season 2 was they pulled that thing out where you think it's somebody, they purposely make you think it's somebody, then somebody else, then somebody else, then somebody else. I could not guess season 2. I was all over the place. I was like, no, no, crap, no. And the other thing about season 3 is most everybody was already dead. So
Yeah,
I'm not sure who was left anyway, besides Willa, Emma,
yeah,
and
yeah.
a couple of others. I'm like, who the hell's left? They pretty much killed everybody.
I mean, I guess my biggest question is about like what happened back in the day whenever Brandon James went on his rampage. Or my theory is, did he or was he just framed? Because
Mm.
when he was shot, when Emma's mom like lured him on that dock, and then he was shot into the water and never found. We don't know if he's dead or alive or what. I kind of
You need to get a hold of the writers, and there were quite a few writers. You need to get a hold of the writers and ask them, do you guys have this mapped out? Do you guys have this plan? Because even we actors, we don't know unless a writer shows up on set and talks to us. When I show up on set, it's 2 guys. It's the audio engineer and the post audio producer, and that is it. My first session, there was the showrunner, the director, and a
yeah,
couple of other people. But once we got it set in stone, who I was, what I'm there to do, they were gone, and it was just
yeah.
me and this guy Aaron and Travis, and that was it. And I was done in an hour. I did multiple episodes in an hour, just in and out. It was awesome. That was
That's
my favorite
awesome.
gig. That was my favorite gig. Oh,
Yeah, yeah.
but unless somebody else is interviewing me, and then your gig is my favorite gig. But
Oh, okay. Thanks.
yeah, this was definitely a fun process to go through.
Yeah.
It was a fun gig.
Well, there was that first season when that transition that you do with Emma on the phone and she's trying to lock
Yeah,
up her house and everything.
yeah,
Man,
the
you did
homage
that.
to the first one,
You did, man.
and
You
the
turned it on a
dial M
dime.
for murder, the classic dial M for murder. I'm in the house trope. That's awesome. I
Yeah,
love that
man.
one.
It was
It's not
great.
my
It kind
favorite
of.
line though. Not my favorite line.
What's your favorite line?
Who told you could wear my mask? That
Oh
was my favorite
yeah.
because I literally ended everything with that one line. I actually did the Halloween special the session before that. They already had that in
Wow.
the can. And so that was my very last line ever. And then we did a bunch of bloopers and outtakes of me just like having phone trouble. Can you
Mm,
hear me? Can you hear me? Ah, crap. Can you hear me now? Like we just did a whole thing with the caller flubbing the cell phone call. It was awesome.
yeah. I was actually I was at Texas Frightmare 2 weekends ago, and I
Oh,
met I met Robert Englund, Brad Dourif, a whole bunch of people, Lance Hendrickson.
wow.
I got
The
like
big names.
yeah, well, we got like it was like crazy, man. So like just so happened like Robert Englund's line would always get capped off, like I could never go get anything signed or even meet him. And so we're getting drunk with me and my buddy are getting drunk with Lance Henriksen all weekend
Oh,
long at the
nice.
hotel bar.
Oh, that's
Next
great.
and so Sunday, I'm like, oh man, this sucks. The weekend, the convention's over. Next thing you know, Robert Englund comes up to Lance and says, hey, can I pull up a chair right here, right next to me?
Oh, that's
We
great.
we popped bottles for like 4 hours almost all
Oh, that's
night long.
amazing.
And
That's amazing.
yeah, it was unreal. But when I met Brad Dourif, he was telling me, he does a lot of voice work for Chucky and all that. And he was telling me, similar to what you're saying is that, like he's like he didn't know anything. He said a lot of times he's just lonely in a room by himself and he delivers his lines, but he never meets the cast or anything like that.
Yeah.
Uh,
Well,
and
and
it,
now with COVID, we do it all from home. So, I mean, even on camera, my on-camera auditions are from my studio here, and
yeah,
all my voice work is from here. And so I live in Portland now, and
n-
before COVID, I was flying to LA.
yeah,
Now I'm connecting to LA, and it's just like, okay. So
yeah,
yeah,
that's
we're
awesome.
really isolated. Well, I liked driving over to the it was called Wildfire Studio for the Scream TV series. It
Yeah,
is no more, which is sad. a lot of these studios went away even before COVID, but definitely during and after, because they're very expensive. And I would drive there and they would have a parking spot with my name on it. I'm like, really? Wow. They made me feel real special. And
Nice.
I'd go in and sometimes I'd have to wait because either the loop group, the background voice actors, which is another thing I do as well, are in before me,
Mm-hmm.
or they're getting ADR lines from an actor who was in the film. So I met Tom Everett Scott. I met the guy that played Jake. And I met a couple of other people. I've forgotten their names. I'm so bad. But you'd go in that studio and the energy was just so nice. And the studio was just gorgeous.
Yeah.
So you would meet the actors once in a while, but now, no way in hell.
Oh. Have you heard about that Paramount Plus is talking about doing a Scream TV series alongside with the new movies and everything?
No,
Have you
this is
heard?
why you should be my agent. I don't hear these things. My agent doesn't hear these things. We don't know. Like they talk about it, but they book talent almost last in the
Yeah.
whole process of things, you know.
Yeah.
So who knows? So you just pinched my ear a little bit here, and now I got something to like maybe peer at. I don't know.
Hey, I'm looking for a new career anyways. I've just left a job that I was with for 12 years
What was
and
that? What was that field? What was that field of job? What was your field of
I
work?
was in campus police.
Oh
Yeah.
my God. Yeah,
Yeah,
you'd make a great agent.
for Rhodes College. Yeah, man.
You'd make a
And
great agent, keeping the
yeah,
peace, getting everybody happy.
there you go.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah, even having, doing voice work, which you got an epic voice. I don't.
I don't
That
have
that
an
would even.
epic voice. Nobody ever once said, "Oh, you got a great voice. You should go into voiceover." Nobody ever said that to me, not once.
How did you fall
And
into something like that?
I was in advertising after college. I was a writer, producer, broadcast producer, and then I opened my own shop as a freelancer.
Hmm.
And early in my career, I was at J. Walter Thompson working on the Ford accounts in Denver. And so we would have to cast our voiceover people off of their cassette demos. That's how old I am. And I cast somebody and brought her in. And then I did a very naughty thing. I line read her, which is, hey, say it the way I'm saying it, which is super insulting and wrong to do. And I didn't know that because I'm just a little Denver boy who's, directing a semi-famous talent. And she leaves, and the audio engineer goes, "Oh man, you got that Gen X voice thing down." I'm like, "Yeah, but I hate the sound of my own voice." And he goes, "Well, you see her contract here?" I said, "Yeah, it's okay money." He goes, "No, I have to multiply that by the 12 markets that I have to ship this out to." He said, "Multiply that by the 12 dubs, which means 12 different markets I got to ship this out to." I said, "That times 12? Fuck, let's cut a demo." So the next time I was in there, I read 3 of my own scripts. I ended up moving to Portland, just for personal reasons. And I got here and started working at a .com. And one Sunday afternoon, I was like, "Who's the best agent in town?" And it was Cusick's, and they were 1 block from where I was working. So actually, I think I went there on a Sunday, took my cassette demo, my 3 spots, slid it under the door. Monday morning at my job, they said, "Is this Mike Vaughn? Come in right now." And I went, okay, so I came in at lunch. Sign here. I had an agent that day. And then for a year, I just went and did auditions to cassette because that's how you did it then, and never booked a single thing for a whole year. Nothing. Then I booked one thing. Then I booked another thing. Then it started happening. Then I got more representation outside of Oregon. Then I built my own website, and then it just went crazy. And then the highlight of my early career was Laszlo from Rockstar Games calls me and says, "You want to be in Grand Theft Auto?"
Wow.
Said, "Yeah." He literally recorded me over the phone, and I'm in the game. And I was like, "Okay, I want to do this." So then moved to LA in 2007, got an agent pretty quick. At this time, I got a handful of agents. I'm recording from home. I'm going to studios. Full-time actor from about 2008 on. And that's how I got into it, just completely by accident.
Do you get residuals for Grand Theft Auto 5 or is
Fuck
it Grand Theft Auto?
no.
Man, that
Fuck
game's been
no.
like sold.
I'm not in Grand Theft Auto 5, and this was Grand Theft Auto San Andreas.
Oh, it was San Andreas.
It was
Okay.
San Andreas, and
Gotcha.
you don't get residuals on video games. It's not how it works.
Oh,
So
wow.
the union had a big. Most games are non-union, but the ones that are, there was a big video game strike, the interactive strike of, was it 2013, 12, somewhere around there, and that was supposed to be the big thing. And they made tiny gains, and the deal was if hey, publisher and developer, if you sell so many millions of copies, we get a little tiny bump as actors. And they said, okay. And then, oh, by the way, you can pay that bump in advance if you think you're going to sell even more than that. And they went, oh, okay. So I worked on some Final Fantasy stuff where I got paid before they'd even sold those things, the extra bump. But there's no residuals. And even residuals in TV commercials and shows, it's not like it used to be. They're much lower than you would think. You'd be sorely disappointed to learn that working actors' incomes are just as flat as everybody else's, if not lower. Yeah. So that's why you see actors doing everything. Celebs don't say no anymore. They say yes to everything. If they can make it work in their schedule, they'll do it. What was Alec Baldwin doing before his little controversy, before he pulled the gun? He was doing like 3 game shows? He was doing everything. Yeah. Everything.
Yeah.
It used to be film actors wouldn't do TV. TV actors wouldn't do voiceover work or animation. Now everybody does everything.
Yeah. Nobody cares. Because I've heard like a lot of like actor interviews like talk about how like they thought that like TV was like it's either the beginning of your career or the end of your career, like going down.
So not true anymore. The best material, it's just about good material. That's all any actor wants. It's why I think creators of content go to Netflix, go to Amazon, go to Apple, because they're free to create their vision without the corporate executive coming in and saying, how about we add a green frog who burps? It's like, no more talking animals. They're free to do it, but they do take generally a little bit less money to have that freedom.
Yeah. So, well, the way Rockstar does, they milk those games. Like every time I turn around, it seems like every year they're re-releasing those games.
And the actors in LA at the union meeting about the interactive strike, somebody in the audience said, that game which shall not be named. They were angrily referencing Grand Theft Auto 5 because they used Canadian actors and no union actors. They only used celebs.
Wow.
I hear not celebs, but I hear well-known voices on there now. I hear JB Smooth and Danny McBride. I hear the voices on there on the radio stations. None of the characters are American. They're all done by Canadian actors. But the characters on the radio playing themselves or playing whatever, they are known actors. So I don't know what kind of contract they have. They may have flipped it over to union by now. But when the game came out, Rockstar went to Canada to avoid the union. Did you see the controversy with Grand Theft Auto 4 and Michael Hollick, the guy who did the voice of the lead character?
I did not.
So there was an article in the New York Times. You guys can all look this up. He expressed some frustration, rightfully, that his game, when Grand Theft Auto came out, it outgrossed the top 5 films of that month combined.
Wow.
And he was paid a tenth of what a non-celebrity actor made in one of those other films.
Wow.
So he was like, what the fuck? He made about, I think the rumor was low 6 figures, like $125,000 for over a year's worth of work. Just constantly going in for updates, new lines, the whole process. When I did Spider-Man, it was about a year almost, I think, of going in. And so it can take a while if you're the lead character. And I think he worked over a year, made 6 figures, which sounds good, but the game made millions upon millions, and he didn't get any benefit of that. And they used his voice from the game in the TV ads and all the promos, where actors make a lot more money or can. So there was an article about it, and he was rightfully upset. And he said he doesn't fault the producers, he doesn't fault the game makers, he doesn't fault anybody except the union. He said the unions failed me in their contract on this game. They felt they were late to the party and they didn't have the appropriate rates for this kind of successful game. That led to the strike. And then Grand Theft Auto 5 went right up to Canada. And so the actors in LA during the strike talks were pissed about that. The game which shall not be named. It's not like those meetings are full of high drama actors anyway, but
Yeah.
it was funny to see that because I'm like, oh, what game are they talking? Oh, okay, got it. And now me and my 5-year-old son, we play Grand Theft Auto 5 all the time.
My kids do too. Like, well, my son, he's about to turn 5. My youngest son.
Oh,
he's
no
about to-
kidding.
in
Oh my
June.
God.
Yeah, June
Yeah.
10th.
Isn't
And,
it better? It's so much better. The boys when they're 4 and 5, it's so much more fun.
Yeah, he
Oh my
loves the Spider-Man game. He
What,
loves.
oh, the new one?
Yeah. The PS4, PS5 one that just came out.
Yep.
Like a couple
Oh,
years
just
ago.
came out or a
Well,
couple years ago?
About a year or two ago. Yeah. Yeah.
That
There was one
I'm on
Miles
that
Morales.
one. I'm on that one. It's like a bunch of thugs and villains that shoot at you.
I saw that on your filmography. I
Yeah.
was like, that's cool.
Yeah, it's really fun. It was really fun. That was
But
fun.
every time he always gets caught up in those the puzzles, and he's like, "Dad, can you help?" And I'm like, "I'm doing the same puzzle over and over." And I was like, "Quit going to that puzzle. Just swing around."
My kid goes and borrows a car, and then he takes it to the custom shops and just spends all day painting it different colors and then saving it in his garage. That's all he does.
Hey, that's fun. That's fun. I think I played Grand Theft Auto at too young of an age myself, so it's okay. I turned out okay.
How young were you?
Man, I as young as I can remember, I don't think I really. I mean, I've played games since I was, regular Nintendo, really.
Yeah.
So I think I played the first Grand Theft Auto that was like eagle eye looking down.
3. Even before Grand Theft Auto 3. Holy
I think
cow.
it was 1 and 2 that was like the eagle eye looking down. Yeah.
Yeah, it was just cars. It was literally just cars.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
So I've been playing it since it probably wasn't supposed to. My parents probably didn't know what was in the games. But
you know what though? There has been no study has shown a correlation between actual violence and playing video games.
Right.
If there was, you know how many people play video games?
I know.
My God, Japan would be a bloodbath right now. China would be a bloodbath. There is no correlation.
Right.
None. It's
right.
parenting. It's parenting that fucks them up or lack thereof.
Or some type of mental disability or something that
it's all shitty parenting. It's just shitty.
It's just shitty parenting.
It's good parenting will deal with the mental stuff. You get that figured out.
Yeah.
It's the what was Dylan Klebold or whatever his parents, they just ignored him.
Yeah.
They were just neglected.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow, man, you've been on some good games, man.
I don't know. You tell me. Because literally when I book something, it's a code name. And we'll finish the session and nobody will reach back out to the actors and tell them, hey, by the way, you worked on this. The only way we find out is when it shows up on IMDb. And we're like, oh, I worked on that. I had no idea I was on Call of Duty. I had no idea I was on Call of Duty. It was called like Lemon or something. I don't know what it was. We are indeed aid up the butt, and they don't even tell us anything that we could even share. The only thing I learned about was I've been working on Genshin Impact for a long time, and I had no idea. I've been working on Back 4 Blood, and that finally came out, and they actually told me. And Lost Ark came out, and they finally told me. But there's 3 other games I'm working on currently. I have no fucking idea what they are. No idea.
Maybe it's the new Grand Theft Auto.
Nope. Oh, it's definitely not that. You can tell by what you're saying. You can definitely tell by what you're saying. You know. It's
okay. All right.
And then sometimes they'll give you the reference track for the Chinese. I get a lot of Chinese version stuff.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, well, it's clearly not Grand Theft Auto because it's clearly produced somewhere else, you know. So it's like, yeah. Oh man, I would kill to work on the new Grand Theft Auto. It's supposed to be Pacific Northwest, right?
I guess I'm not quite sure. That I think it's really under wraps. Like as far as
think?
what did they say that they're trying to make like a whole world?
Yeah,
and they're just gonna like update it like Fortnite or something, like change it over time and just have this will be the ultimate.
Now wait a minute, am I crazy or during COVID I feel like my PlayStation got turned on once or twice, right? And I feel like Grand Theft Auto popped on. And I feel like during COVID, like right at the height of COVID, I was on Grand Theft Auto and the streets were empty. Didn't they update it to be like
more dense,
tongue in cheek to be like, oh, it's COVID outside in the real world and it's COVID in Grand Theft Auto 5.
Did they really?
I thought they did. Maybe I dreamt it. Maybe I hallucinated it. I don't know. But I wanted to check with you since you play. I thought there was like a lot less people on the streets at one point when I accidentally played it during COVID.
They could have. You never know,
I don't
because
know.
they spend more. They update that game more
Like
than they do
crazy. Like
Red Dead Redemption
crazy.
2. Like that's what a lot of gamers have like complained about. They're like, Grand Theft Auto 5 has been out for so long, but they just keep making more money with it, and they're not really updating Red Dead Redemption 2, which is a great game too. But
Yeah, I
you know,
haven't played that. It's time when you get to be my age and you get 2 kids, it's like, okay, I got to spend time either, updating things that don't pay me, we're speaking about working on things that don't pay,
yeah,
doing my bookkeeping, updating my portfolios and all that stuff,
yeah,
or playing a video game. But, if I have free time, it's the wife and I will watch a show. I'll play with my son, or if I'm really lucky, I'll go out back to the fire table and have a cigar and watch a funny show.
hey, there you go, man. That's what I do too, man. I'm outside on the patio and got a little fire out there, got a pool, and I'm just kind of like just
Got your
enjoying
weed, got
myself.
your weed. Is that what you were
Yeah,
gonna say?
yeah, I can't say that on here.
Yeah. I'm legit cigar guy. I wish I was into weed, but I do it and I eat everything in the house. And I'm already
you
fat to
know,
begin with. I'm just like, fuck, I can't do it.
like I'm a lightweight when it comes to it. Like if I want to go to sleep, I'm out like that.
Oh,
But if,
good for you.
yeah,
Oh, that's good.
I'll fall asleep in my chair sitting up. It's so stupid, man. But I'm an old fashioned guy. Like I'll sit out there and drink a good old fashioned and just chill and maybe cook out. I don't know.
All right. Well, then here's what you need to do. You need to get me on one of those Halloween cons that you went to, one of those conventions that you went to.
Mm-hmm.
Tell them I'll come, and that way I'm not selling myself, so I don't look desperate. You get me on there. We'll sit down with Robert Englund at the bar, and we'll have old fashions, and we'll have a good old time.
Popping champagne.
Yeah, that's
hey,
right.
I got the experience to see Drunk Freddy. That is an experience I will never
amazing.
forget.
Can I relate to your experience with a little story of my own?
Sure.
So in 2008, I was the voice of Spider-Man in Web of Shadows, and I went to Comic-Con, and I brought a friend of mine to help with PR, and my best friend came with me. And my best friend and I, it's just me and him the first day of Comic-Con, and we're going through the things, and we're like, well, this is fun. I was already older, like well into my 30s, if not close to 40. And I was just like, okay, this is cool. Where's the libations? Where's the bar? Where's that? And we ask a kid, he goes, oh, there's no bar here. You got to go across the street to the hotel. We're like, oh, fuck. All right. So we go over to the hotel. We sit down in the lounge, swanky little lounge, big, nice, the whole thing. I look over and there's Stan Lee, literally in the next booth next to us, with a pretty young lady with him. So he goes up to the bar. I go up to the bar at the same time, and I go, hey, Stan, I'm Mike Vaughn. He's like, I'm the voice of Spider-Man in the game you're probably here to promote, Web of Shadows. And he goes, oh, well, then I'll see you at the party, huh? And I go, no, nobody invited me to the party you're talking about. And he goes, well, it's the Activision release party for the game you're on. Okay. Yeah, nobody invited me to that. Thanks. So I was like, okay. So I said thank you, said hi. It was nice. It was at the Hard Rock. I go there with my little entourage, and they're like, you're who? And my PR person goes, here, shows them the IMDb, and they go, oh, shit. Oh, okay. Go on up. Champagne service. I was there. Then all of a sudden, my whole little posse, this was like a really bad episode of Entourage. We all got invited to the Yahoo party. The Yahoo party already had me coming. The Yahoo release party, 2 other parties, Activision, somebody else. We went to all these parties all weekend long. It was obnoxious. It was just obnoxious. All thanks to Stan Lee. All thanks to Stan Lee telling me too much.
Yeah. It's a good thing you walked up to him.
No, the producers at Activision are over here. The marketing and PR team are over here.
Yeah.
I don't think they talk to each other. Yeah. So,
wow. That's man. That would have been great to meet him. That
was fun. Awesome, we didn't talk too much. He didn't seem, he was just kind of, he's kind of, whatever. Here to do with them.
You could tell that with Robert Englund and Lance Henriksen that they've been friends for years.
Yeah.
And it was like just listening to some dirty old men just sharing stories, and I'm just like laughing. I mean, Robert is like getting really drunk, and he's just
Yeah.
like doing his pretty laugh that he does in his movies, and
Oh,
he's
that's
enjoying
funny.
himself. And that was like, instead of getting 3 minutes of his time and getting, I cherish moments like that than I do a signature or a picture
Mhm.
or something like that. I just want
It's
to
more
have a
real.
conversation. Right, right. And
Did
I'm
you
not
ever
here
meet
to.
somebody you were kinda disappointed in? You know the saying, "Don't meet your heroes"?
Yeah, I know, but it actually was pretty cool.
Good. I'm glad it worked out, glad it worked out. I was on a film that Robert Englund produced. It was called Zombie Strippers, and it
I
was
rem
one of
I
the
got that movie over here somewhere.
oh my god. It's one of the first films I did, and I can't say I did. I had
Yeah,
just gotten to LA,
yeah.
and it was like they were casting for background guys at a strip club. So it was on the actors boards, like,
Mhm.
"Do you wanna get paid $120 to sit at a strip club?" I'm like, "Yeah."
Yeah.
So, I'm like, "Okay." So, I signed up and I did it. It's at this creepy hospital where they shoot all the scary stuff, and the vibe of this hospital is just the creepiest juju ever because it really was an insane asylum in LA. It was bad.
Yeah.
And the director was a total asshole to everybody. And
Really?
yeah, and I knew most directors aren't like that. Most professionals are ridiculously nice and professional. This was just the one outlier who hated his life or was on whatever and just a total cunt. And he
Mm.
was mean to everybody. And it was just
Mhm.
so unnecessary to the point where the porn stars that were playing the strippers didn't want to come out. So there was a lot of standing around doing nothing. So we're out in the freezing cold standing there, and this guy goes, "Hey, look." Another background extra with me goes, "Hey, look." And over there, and there's Robert Englund, and he's like, "Hey guys." And we're just like, "Hey." And that's the
He
only time I met him. And then they said they handed me my cash at the end. I saw Jenna Jameson and some other woman, and
Yeah.
it was not as great of an experience as you might think. And I got my money, and they go, "So we got you on for tomorrow?" And I go, "No, no you don't. I'm not coming
No.
back." I was like, "No, I'm good. I don't need to
Yeah.
sit around and be yelled at like, I don't. No actor deserved that." So I just passed, and then I told my uncle, and as soon as it came out on IMDb, he watched. He said,
Oh my
"I
god.
saw you throwing the bills," and I'm like, "Oh crap."
Yeah.
We all do shit. I did Thousand Ways to Die.
Mhm.
I did all kinds of crap when I first got there, and I'd probably still be doing it if I was down there. You know.
Yeah. Yeah, that Zombie Strippers was one of those movies that you're in Blockbuster and you're just curious. You're like, "Huh, Jenna Jameson's on there. Robert Englund, Freddy's in this.
Yeah, because
What
you
is
can't go
this
to the
movie?"
porn section, right? Either they don't have
Yeah.
it or you're not
Yeah.
allowed to get
As a
in. So
young
you
man,
yeah.
this is what you pick up.
I mean, straight to Showtime or Skinamax, right?
Right?
Like that's kind of what. But no, it's free on IMDb. So okay,
Yeah.
all right.
Yeah. What an experience.
Really.
So you didn't really get to talk to Robert
No,
that much. He
fuck
just
no,
kinda he's very
no.
vocal. He's very he
Yeah,
tries to share stories with
I've
everybody.
I lived in LA for 10 years, and I ran into a lot of people, and 99.9% of them are awesome and nice. It's always
Yeah.
the ones that aren't working, that aren't, the ones that have issues that they're not really working anyway. So nobody
Yeah.
to speak of. Most everybody that's working is awesome. I mean,
Yeah.
just about everybody. Like
I've
it's
been
very
considering
rare.
getting back into, like, acting or something like that. I used to take acting lessons whenever I was a teenager at Red West Studios here in Memphis. He was
Yeah,
Elvis's bodyguard, and he had
yeah,
a acting studio. He was in a bunch of movies, but he's passed away now, and
yeah,
I just, became a dad, got a job,
yeah. You
kinda
got the
bought a
4-year-old.
house, and I just kinda.
But here's the thing: if you started acting, you can rope your 4-year-old in with you, and now you're a valuable family unit to book
There you
together.
go.
I've
Mhm.
had my kid audition quite a bit, so
Really?
I force them.
Okay.
I'm like,
Nice.
Do you know how many Matchbox cars this is?" It's like, "Okay,
There
I'll
you go.
do it."
That's a good idea to do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and Texas, Dallas, Texas, and even Memphis to some degree, the agents, they are very good about, keeping it local. So it's
Yeah.
hard for us out of market guys to get, like, a good Texas agent, and
Yeah.
rightfully so. So, like, that's a good move. Like, yeah, do it.
Yeah.
Take
Do
your
you do
improv
you
classes, take your theatrical classes, and make fun
Yeah.
stuff, and go, go, go.
Yeah, well, that was my thing is like, with the way the market is, I was like, you know what? I'm moving there. I will for eventually get might go back to police, might whatever out there. But for now, I'm going to sit on my equity. I'm going to do what I love. I'm going to
Yeah.
try to pursue what I love instead of, because I kind of learned, and I'm not trying to go down this path too much, but I've learned that like working for somebody else and you're just a number, and like I had advancement, like I was supposed to be like the next commander at my job, and COVID happened. The commander passed away and they just cut that position.
From COVID? Did he die from COVID?
No, he actually he had bad health already.
Okay.
But he passed away in June of 2020, and I knew that they weren't going to make any moves or anything. But then, but I've been told I was there for 12 years. I was told for 8 to 10 years that I'm the next commander. I'm the next commander, and then they just
For 8
cut
to
it.
10 years, they told you that?
Yeah, and all our supervisor meetings, all with administration, everybody, and then it's just like they just cut my advancement. And then didn't give me a significant raise along with it. I just had more responsibility. I was doing 2 jobs for the price of 1, and they just kind of seemed like I was supposed to just take it. So
I went and just jumped over to self-employment pretty quick. I had an appointment with a doctor back in 2002 or 3.
Yeah.
And he said, "Oh, you're type 1 diabetic. You're a male. Yeah, you'll probably live somewhere into your 50s, but probably not much beyond that. Good luck." And that day I went to the place where I was freelancing, but I had to go in, and I said, "I'm not coming in anymore. I'm working from home. I'm going to start pursuing the things I love." I started just toying with not just voice acting, because I was already doing that, but more acting, because I wanted to do animation and games and more stuff like that. And I knew that that's not just putting on a voice, it's depth acting. And so I did theater. I started, auditioning more, try to get myself in better shape, try. And then I was just self-employed since. I've been self-employed since.
Yeah.
And
That's not
so,
loud, is it? I'm not trying to cut you
it's
off.
super loud. I'm like,
They decided to cut my lawn today. They just showed up. Sorry.
It's fine.
Hopefully they'll be
It'll
done
come
soon.
and go. I'm not. Hey,
Yeah.
your show, not mine. So self-employment for me is the right way to go. My wife is also a good candidate for self-employment because we don't suffer too many, dumb shits, on top of us. But it does have its disadvantages. I mean, taxes, health insurance. Oh, it is painful. And then the fear of, oh my God, I haven't booked a new gig in a while or something like that. The fear is real and the expenses are hefty. But in return for that, you get the freedom of, oh, nothing's due on Monday, I can sleep in. You get more flexibility with your time and you get more control over your decisions. But it's not a cheap decision by any stretch because we don't have lobbyists and things aren't cheap. So it's a tough call. It's not for everybody. But somebody telling you you're going to advance for 8 to 10 years and then not doing it.
Yeah.
Time to give them the middle.
So
time to give them the middle finger. At minimum, give them the middle finger and go to their competitor.
Yeah. I thought about going to another school or something. I mean, it was a good school. I mean, it was an Ivy League school, and it's been a great place to work. It's just, man, our department started going downhill, and they obviously didn't like to value their employees, so I'm not going to value them.
Yeah, you can't. You can't.
Yeah. You got to make a change, take a risk, and just jump.
Yeah. And actors are that way with their reps or jobs, even, you know what I mean? Like, oh, we do it for either the love, the art, you know what I mean? Or we do it for the pay, or we do it because we want a vacation or it's a favor to somebody. So if it's not one of those three, if it's not at least one of those 3 reasons, we have to pass. Right. So that's kind of how it goes.
Yeah. I'm trying to cut out some of that noise. They're like right outside this window.
You're doing a good job. So and I can just keep talking and monologuing, so it just blocks them out.
Oh, there you go. You did do an interview on my buddy's channel, Craving Something Scary.
That was fun. That was a fun one.
Yeah. He's been on the chat today. Yeah, we do a lot of live streams.
Oh, there he is.
Yeah.
It's backwards because I got you on a teleprompter, so it's backwards.
Oh, okay.
So it looks like lingerie, oi, see you, good. So it's, hey, Mike Vaughn, good to see you again. Yeah. Good to see you.
Yeah, good guy. He's a really
very
good
nice
guy.
Nice.
We got one question here. Mike, what's your favorite scary movie?
So I just talked about this with a colleague of mine recently. I won't watch it again because I'm scared it doesn't hold up and it's cheesy.
Yeah.
But I remember the movie terrifying me the most was it was a 1970s film called The Changeling with George C. Scott. And
I remember it.
not gory, nothing like that at all. I mean, I can give a spoiler alert, I guess. Basically, there's a spirit in the attic because bad things happened, and it tortures the guy that now owns the house. That's it in a nutshell. But the scene where the red ball drops down the attic, the hidden
do remember that.
stairs that he just found, and then goes to his feet. Oh, fuck me. I just think about that, and I'm like, oh no, that freaked me out. And then my buddy, we were talking about it too, and we had the same experiences. We both were at the age where we could get away with seeing Friday the 13th, the first one, but still too young that it freaked us out. So Friday the 13th had me scared to lift up the garage door. I thought somebody's going to cut me in half. And then Poltergeist had me going nowhere near my closet for like a week. So those three were kind of like the for me. So those are probably my favorite.
You weren't scared of The Exorcist?
No. Amityville kind of freaked me out a little bit.
Yeah.
But Exorcist, no, that was I actually kind of giggled during that. I thought it was
yeah, I rewatched it a couple years ago, and I was kind of like, why was I so scared of this?
Yeah.
It's
And like everybody raves about what's the Jack Nicholson film? Here's Johnny.
Shining.
Everybody raves about The Shining, and some people I know are like, oh, it's terrifying. It's a great film.
Yeah,
I don't find it terrifying one bit.
Me either.
No, but
I've always wondered that.
It's a good watch. It's a good watch, but it's not scary at all.
Right. I've never understood that either when people say that that's like one of the scariest movies. I'm like, I like it. But
you want to see a scarier hotel? Go to Old Vegas and go to any hallway at the Golden Nugget. That hallway is fucking creepy. That's the scariest hallway ever, hands down. That's creepy. Or any McMiniman's hotel here in Oregon and Washington. Okay. That's some creepy shit. That's just creepy.
I saw some creepy hotels out in New Orleans whenever I went out
there. Oh, I bet you did.
It was like underground taverns, like that no like electricity. It's just like lighting, like lamps and stuff. I'm like, whoa, what is this?
That town sucks. I'm not a New Orleans fan. My parents lived there. They used to live there and had a house. And so I didn't get to have the fun 3-day adventure. I had to be there for like 5 days when my college was on break or something. And I hated that town. Yeah. It's just got the creepiest vibe. It's just off. I took the ghost tour there, and I don't believe in that stuff, but it kind of made sense.
Yeah.
Kind of like, yeah, I believe it.
It was a cool place to visit, but I don't know if I'd want to live there.
No.
Been to some bachelor parties out there, but other than that.
So the ghost story, they tell you, they're like the French and the Indians used to meet there to trade. And the French started setting up camp, and the Indians said, no. Hey, stupid, you don't set up camp here. This is a swamp. You're going to die. There's mosquitoes. There's all kinds of diseases. You don't do it. And the French are like, fuck you. We set up anyway. And they set up, and then people started dying, and then they started burying them underground. And then the rains and the water would come, and the bodies would float to the top, and they would float into the city center, and around goes the cycle of disease. So that's where the vampire lore came from. They were filling up French ships with empty coffins to put the dead in New Orleans in. That's why the coffins were empty, because they couldn't make them fast enough, so they had to ship them over. And so they had these empty coffins, hence the lore for the vampires. Plus, everybody's dying all the freaking time over there. And even when I would visit, it's like, yep, I would visit, winter break, right? So it's New Year's Eve. And they're like, okay, it's a good year. We only had 12 deaths from gunshots going into the air this New Year's. Yeah. Really? Like, the town is just death central. That's all it is.
Yeah.
It's scam and death.
It's got a stench to it too.
Yes. And everybody's like, oh, but the jazz and the food.
That's only good for so long.
3 days, max,
Yep.
people.
A
Remember that.
weekend.
If you learned anything today, it's that do not extend your trip beyond 3 days to New Orleans ever.
Yeah. And they used to have really corrupt police there.
I think
back in the
still
90s.
do. Oh yeah, that's when I was there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it was Bribe Central.
I watched this whole documentary, like how they were underpaid for one.
Yeah, 20,000 a year. 20,000 a year was their
and
average
so
pay.
they would work nightclubs and bars and be security for that, and then they would rob the place afterwards,
or just take bribes with all the drunk tourists,
or take bribes. Yeah. It was crazy. I saw one where like somebody made a complaint on a cop, and the cop shot her dead in the front yard.
I believe it.
I was like, wow.
I believe it.
That was whenever I was in criminal justice and all that back in college. But,
you're the authority on that. Yeah, that was not a town you want to live in.
Yeah, not at all.
Few places in the world I say that about, but that is the one I'm like, don't live there.
Memphis is another one. Memphis ain't too far behind it. Yeah,
everybody's moving out to where you're at.
Crime is just huge here. It's just I don't know. I don't feel like there's like as much opportunity here as other places. And it's the city of the blues for a reason. So, but I mean, it's home, but it's just time for a change.
Yeah.
But your favorite scary movie is actually the same as Neve Campbell's.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
She doesn't mean the Angelina Jolie one though, does she?
No. She means the original, or not the original, but the old scary movie. And I remember watching.
She was at that convention you went to, wasn't she?
She was.
Yeah.
Yep.
Nice.
Yep. I did a Q&A. Well, they did a Q&A there, and they went over like what's their favorite scary movies and all this kind of stuff, and that was hers.
Wow, weird.
Changeling was hers.
Weird.
So, and I already knew that because I've watched previous stuff of hers before somebody asked it.
Did not know that. I didn't even, every time I mask that on these interviews, which has been a handful of times, they're always like, oh, the Angelina Jolie one. I'm like, no, maybe I got the name of the film wrong.
Yeah, that was it. When that movie came out, I was like, wow, can they use that name? But it was a good movie though. Angelina Jolie's movie was good.
Yeah, it was
completely different.
It was good.
Jeez,
how was the convention? I'm curious about the conventions because I actually did get asked to do one and then I couldn't do it. But I am curious about those because there is that trope like, oh, like you said about TV, like you do it at the beginning or the end of your career. But I'm learning that may not be the case. It may actually be like what the kids do these days, and it's cool and fun. Like, what's your experience like with the cons?
It's funny that you say that because I actually just had this conversation with Jamie Kennedy, who plays Randy.
Yeah.
And that was his concern, what you're saying, and he said, but it's changed. It used to be like that whenever Comic-Con first started off.
Yeah.
How they used to change out, comics. It used to be something a little bit more smaller, but now like big name actors and stuff is starting to be a part of it.
I'm seeing
that. He says he loves it. He said it feels like he's like a rock star every time he's going off on, and I think he's on one right now. He's agreed to come on the show too here soon.
Well,
so
I've made this offer before. If somebody gets me a convention appearance or says something that gets me the convention appearance, because I'm not in the business of selling myself. I'm really terrible.
I'll get you on.
You get me on one. I'll give you a cut, and we'll buy drinks and have cigars.
I don't even need a cut, man. We'll just hang out and we'll drink.
You don't want 10% of the $100 I'll get. You don't want $10.
Oh, sure. That get me one beer and a French fry.
Yeah. Exactly.
But actually, I
don't know what it is. I have no idea what goes on, and it's
from what I understand is I think that they give you a free room. You get free food, a free plane ticket, all that.
Okay.
And it's really, you kind of make your own prices at your booth.
Really?
So, yeah.
See, that's gonna be a problem for me because I hate taking money from fans. It doesn't feel right to me, and I have a hard time teaching classes because I feel like I'm taking money from the wrong person. I'm taking money from the person who's struggling, who wants to be an actor. So I try to minimize it. I run a loop group here which trains, but I only charge what it costs to pay for the studio. That's all
Yeah.
I do. And I have taught some classes, but I'm not making a killing. And the classes I teach are part of a program, somebody else's program that I look at and go, that's reasonable. That's not gouging. You know what I mean? And so I don't have to sell myself. I can do my job and not be in the business of self-promotion and that, that side of it. Cause I'm just not good at it.
Yeah. I think most of the actors and everything, they have like an assistant with them that when you're going down a line,
Look,
they'll say, hey, what do you want? Are you wanting an autograph? Are you wanting a picture? Are you wanting both? Like they'll do this thing like,
that person's probably with the convention, I would imagine, aren't they?
no, they're with
the talent.
Yep.
Ah, shit. All right.
Yeah. I'll be that guy for you.
Done.
Okay.
Done.
Because I was already going to reach out to the director of Texas Frightmare and offer, volunteer work and stuff like that. Because I'm networking as well, with my channel.
Dude.
I went down there and like people knew me and was following me around, and I was like, okay.
Tell him you interviewed me and that you got me to agree to come, and then he'll go, who?
I'll send him a bunch.
And
you'll
be like, fuck, I got no power. This guy's nobody.
No, you're compared to some of the people there. Like, no, you actually got good gigs.
No, come on.
Yeah, like there's some people that hasn't worked in years, but they were just a part of the horror community.
Okay,
and you're definitely a part of that. So,
well, I mean, what my big thing is for the last 2 years has been nothing but zombie noises in games and animation. Like I'm apparently the guy you go to when you've got to have somebody sound like they're half dead and they have their head exploded.
Yeah.
Like just hours of that. That's all I do. I literally, I'm going to post it. I've recorded me auditioning for a zombie role, and it's like, it's going to make you throw up. Like I almost gagged. It's a lot of work.
Yeah. That new game, there's another game out right now, Evil Dead, the game. I don't know if you know Evil Dead, the series.
Well, of course I know the series, yes, but I didn't know there was a game of it, and I'm on a competing product called Back for Blood, so how dare you?
Oh, yeah, I have Back for Blood too. Good game.
Do?
Yeah.
From what I can tell from the trailers and the gameplay videos, I'm a good chunk of all the zombies, all the mid voice, not too deep, not too bright. I'm kind of that middle voiced creature.
That's what I was going to ask you. Would you voice in Back for Blood? You did the zombies.
I did hours of voice. I think I had 2 sessions for it. I think because again, it was code named. I'm not sure which was which. Yeah. And then it was like, I think I did 4 different types of zombies, and then they adjusted what I was doing. So smaller, medium, heavy, fast moving ones, slow moving ones, big moving ones, and then they can take it and affect it. You know what I mean? So you do this handful of stuff and then they play with it, and it's like a sound effect for them. And then you just go crazy. And none of it was to picture. Like I wasn't syncing with any, I had to use my mind's imagination. They just told me, okay, now you're climbing a wall. Now you're jumping. Now you're dying. They just tell you as you go along, here's what you need to do, and you just do it.
So I have to say, man, the sound effects were on point in that game, because if you're like wearing headphones, it's just like it's coming from every different direction. I'm just like, whoa.
I think that was the team at Warner Brothers Studios that did the audio. That studio was just amazing. You go underground, literally, you go underground.
Really?
Oh, it's so cool.
Yeah.
It's such a cool studio. I flew out for that one. And then I think I did a pickup session recently from my home studio here, but I'm not totally sure.
Yeah.
And then like these games like Lost Ark and Genshin Impact, it's like you do these things, but they're not even, nobody really cares. Like, it's just like,
I heard of Lost Ark. I heard of Ark. There's another game called
games that it sounds like you're more of a FPS guy. These are more of those turn-based multiplayer games. I don't play those just because time, and I'm used to the first person shooter stuff. But it's such a big world out there that I can't believe more regional actors aren't training in voiceover, because there's so much fun work. I love it. My favorite gigs, quite honestly, are fun ones, and video games tend to be super challenging and super fun. If that makes any sense.
Oh yeah.
I never leave a voice session or even an on-camera session upset. I'm always happy, even if it was hard.
Mm-hmm.
I did a film where I did learn a Russian accent in a week. Hard, scary. Oh my God. Huge monologue, the whole thing. But
Mm-hmm.
it was hard. It was really
Yeah.
hard. And I left there just loving it. Like,
Hmm.
so do what you love, right? Like
Do
you
what you love.
like you need to do.
That's what I need to do. Yeah. It was pretty obvious whenever all that happened. But
Yeah. I can't read what's on the screen. Like I said, it's backwards.
oh, I'm sorry.
You need to
Yeah.
tell me anything.
Craven put on here a little while ago.
Oh, he's just yapping away. Hey, buddy,
yeah.
you already had your turn. We did like what, a 2-hour, 3-hour interview? Suck it.
It was.
Suck it.
It was.
This isn't your turn. We beat up this guy, I think, on your podcast, and now I can beat up on him, right? Isn't that
Yeah.
what happened?
There you go.
Okay.
Yep. That is what happened. He said, Mike, great to see you again. Any new games that you have done voice work over on since we last spoke in March, or any coming up that you can share?
The ones I can share: Lost Ark, Back for Blood, Genshin Impact. There is one other, and I'm spacing the name. It's probably on my IMDb page, so imdb.me/Mike Vaughn. So those are the only ones I know right now. I've done 3 voice sessions since your interview, Craven, and I don't know what they are. I have no idea. Just 0. Oh no, there is one more I know. It's not out yet, and I am allowed to talk about it. World War II one that's coming out. Not Medal of Honor. I did work on Medal of Honor, the VR
That's
version.
what I was about to say.
But no, there's a new one coming out. Fuck, I'm forgetting what
Heroes Company of Heroes.
Yes, I think so.
It?
What is that? What's the main title called?
I think it's Company. There's a thing called Company of Heroes. I think it's more of a PC game. It's more World War II.
What year? What year does it say that game was?
Sorry. Oh, I don't know. They have a lot of them.
Oh, I thought you were looking at my credits. I don't think it's on there yet.
Not at the moment.
I think it is on my credits. Actually, there is a World War II game. I think it was added to my credits. And that one. So anyway,
okay.
Whatever. And they were like, we can't believe you're doing our game. Da, da, da. I'm like, are you? I even said to them, I said, you sure you got the right Mike Vaughn? Like I'm all I did was yell military stuff. Grenade, move! Ah! That's all I did. And they were like so nice.
That's awesome. There.
They were so fun. They were so fun.
Let's see if it's on here. We got Back for Blood, Lost Ark, Dog. No. That's a
no.
movie,
if you didn't see it already, okay, no.
Yeah.
It's listed in IMDb. They haven't added my name yet. That's all.
Okay.
So anyway, sorry. Everybody, just follow me on Instagram, and I'll post it when when I get to it. Don't forget to like and follow.
There you go. So let's see here. I'm trying to catch up here on the chat. You already told me what your most memorable line was in the Scream TV series.
Hell yeah. Who told you could wear my mask? I've even signed a couple guys' masks that they had made with they wanted that line. And I'm like, no problem. I love that.
You said you didn't meet much of the cast though, right?
Not much.
Met a couple.
No, Emma's dad, William Everett Scott, I think is his name.
Tom Everett Scott.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm really, really bad.
I always remember him in that movie, That Thing You Do.
Oh yeah,
as the drummer.
Yeah. Oh man, nice guy, super nice guy. The guy that played Jake, I'm spacing his name. There was maybe I did meet Zerfi. What was his name? The guy killed in the prison at the end.
Kieran.
I think I did meet him very briefly. Super briefly, and I think there's one other guy that got killed, the blonde guy that gets sliced in half. I think I met him. These are like quick meetings in passing where like I'm in the studio waiting and they come in to sign their contracts and leave. And that's how fast like we're just like passing each other in the hall. So it's just like, hey, how you doing? I had a longer interaction at that studio fighting over a booth with Bo, the guy that screwed up the Oscars. See how bad I am with names? This is great.
I know who you're talking about.
God damn, I'm terrible with names. I
I
am
am
the
too. I'm not.
worst. I am the worst. So I'm sitting at a booth or I was getting ready to go into a booth, and he zooms up right up to me and is like, what do you think you're doing? I'm like, oh, well, I'm going to sit in this booth and fill out my contracts. And he goes, well, I was going to take a nap. And I go, well, you do look a little older than me. You go right ahead. And so we had a little fun thing. But that guy, if I can remember his name, fuck, I can't believe I can't remember his name. He wasn't Wild Orchid. Weaver, but no.
Somebody said Will Smith.
No. Oh God, no. I'm going to be totally honest with you. Will Smith was popular when I was in like junior high school.
Yeah.
I never got it. I never understood why the Cosby Show was popular. I never understood why Will Smith's work was popular. Nothing against him, just not my cup of tea. Yeah. And then history moves along and I'm like, oh, well, I guess my instincts were tuning into something.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, I wasn't wrong. Okay,
yeah,
cool.
that was still surprising.
Trust your gut, kids. Trust your gut, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, that was my longest interaction with like somebody that was like, well, famous, but he was super nice and funny, like they all are. There it is, Warren Beatty. Warren Beatty, that's who it was. And that guy looks so good at it. I mean, just like, God damn, he looks better in person than he does on camera. Major. Really? Oh, by a long shot. Yeah, it's bizarre. It's really bizarre. And he was nice and funny, and he was there working on one of his films, so like you'd get that all the time. Yeah, I love that studio. I'm so sad it's gone. I'm really sad about that. We had 2 studios here in Portland closed too. That one was a work of engineering art. It's just a tragedy, you know. All audio stuff is really going to people's houses. It's kind of a bummer.
Yeah. So, yeah, I might get into that work. I'm constantly upgrading my equipment and everything, and maybe that's what I could kind of squeeze in as some voice acting work. And that was one of my questions. Also, was what advice would you give to someone if they wanted to pursue voice acting, and how would they start?
There's only going to be one type of voice acting left in 5 years. This is my new prediction. I just came to this realization. Okay, just being a voiceover guy that just like, you know, narrates cheap commercials, regional, local, small budget stuff. I'm in the camp now. I wasn't in this camp 6 months ago, but I'm in the camp now that like, I think when somebody doesn't want to pay for voiceover, or they don't want to pay a lot of money, I think AI is going to come in very handy for those people. So if you are just doing voiceover, if you're acting like an actor who only does film and you're saying, I only want to do voiceover, good fucking luck. That's all I got to say. I would not recommend pursuing that route. What I would recommend pursuing is acting, the deep, emotional, quality shit. And that means don't worry about voiceover. Worry about theatrical acting training. Learn your Stanislavski, learn your Uta Hagen, learn whatever and all tools you can stomach. And if you love it, you're going to have no problems. Apply your actor training to voiceover, and don't skip on the improv classes either, but make sure who you train with is reputable and good. And hopefully you can get it in person, because there is a different energy and feel to that. And when you do work, it's going to be in person for the most part. You know what I mean? So if you're going to pursue voiceover, I would just cross out voiceover and say, no, you're going to pursue acting. Okay. That just happens to be done without a lens. I would take that perspective. Okay. For sure. And then if you have to do a cheap YouTube narration for your buddy's daycare program or something, you just apply your acting technique, and then people be like, wow, that sounds really good. And I don't know why, because you're connected and you're full of emotion, and you've got something to give that isn't just a robotic read of paper. So that's my advice to everybody watching, is be your best actor and have fun and create good stuff like what you're doing. Like the stuff you're doing now when you're telling a story, you could save that clip. That's you interviewing. Yeah. Yeah. So very true. I just helped a company cast like a YouTube video personality, where it's like, hey, coming up next. And I happen to be one of those guys. And so it's like the stuff that you guys, the younger generation, does on their own can get you acting work. Yeah. Like, That's
Yeah.
all you're doing. Just be authentic and real, and don't say, oh, I just want to do voiceover work. Don't do that. Go do theatrical training, go do improv training. And if you love that, you'll have no problem doing animation, doing games, doing all that stuff.
Yeah. Well, who do you recommend to learn from? What school or
I think it
acting?
depends where you live. A lot of the good teachers are on Zoom. I teach I just taught a voiceover class on Zoom. I'm not doing one currently. And I don't like it. It's not as good. The connection is definitely lost, I think, with Zoom. I hate sounding like such an old fart with that stuff. So I think it depends where you live. And I can't tell you who to go to. I can just tell you who I enjoyed. I enjoyed Kimberly Jensen in LA. I enjoyed training with James Eckhouse in LA. I did up to the advanced levels in Groundlings and UCB for improv. I joined a theatrical improv troupe, which was really challenging and hard. I did some voice classes. Some were better than others. Randall Ryan out of Texas, he teaches a class, but it's usually virtual, or he makes a special appearance. Randall Ryan does a good job of teaching characters in like games and voiceover stuff. He's great. So it just kind of depends, but really, somebody may I like a teacher and somebody else may hate him. It's like getting your hair cut. It's who you connect with and all that. I'd say the only things to watch out for are, does this teacher spend 1 hour of your 3-hour class session talking about themselves and old stories? Because you're paying for that. Does your teacher want to break everybody down like the military does into balls of tears? Watch out for that. I'm not a fan of that. I don't think that's necessary. And just watch out for the stereotypical egos and the bullshit. Every small market will have somebody who did really well, who might be teaching kind of on the down low. Look for your local heroes that are teaching, and just say, hey, can I audit one class to, make sure you're not a cunt, and go check them out. That's what I would do. Yeah. And if they say, no, you can't audit, well, that's your first red flag.
Yeah.
Like, why wouldn't you? Yeah, you can audit. You can't participate, but yeah, you could be a fly on the wall and watch. Yeah. But I think most people went over to Zoom in a big panic. And so you could take classes from a big name in LA if you wanted to. You could try it out Zoom that way. But we would partner up with other people in the class and rehearse. My class with James Eckhouse, I partnered with a working actor. Oh my God, I learned so much with him. And we worked really hard on a scene. And that kind of stuff just really gets you going. The other thing I did too was I'd volunteer for stuff that I knew wasn't profitable. Like I read for the blind and recorded it, like read articles for the blind and just sent in the files, and no pay, nothing. But boy, did I get good at getting words off a page. You know what I mean? It was like, that kicked my ass. So sometimes just doing the work. So like, if you want to be an actor, you don't have to wait for a class necessarily. You can go grab some friends and make some cool videos and learn as you go as well. I think that's super valuable too. Just figure it out. Know that your first stuff's going to suck. Who cares? Do it anyway.
Yeah. See, I do a lot of writing. I've been writing for a long time, but and where I live, that's the thing, is like trying to find people that are into the same thing that I am, and trying to find help, trying to have somebody be a part of a project.
See if you can't strip down your scripts into something even more simple and basic and do it yourself, because right now, or just with one or two people, you know what I mean? Like you don't, and then you build something and then more people will want to jump on board with you. So you're not asking them, they're asking you to join your thing. So I think you got to start somewhere. You're making kind of the same decisions and mistakes that I've been making, which is like, I'm just going to ask people for work. And it's like, nah, I gotta make stuff. I gotta have fun. I'm too old. I gotta there's things I want to write, so my kids have something, and they learn about me and that kind of thing. It's just like, nah, let's just create. Even if it's crap. Just create, even if it's crap. And let's,
just
put
hit
it out
record
there and do, oh yeah.
Just hit record.
Touche. I'll shut up now. But yeah. Do what you love. Writing is a big one, because that you do need to do solo, and I believe there's a need for good content. I really do.
Yeah.
I really do.
Yeah. I enjoy it. It's therapeutic, really. And I
Yeah.
write what I want to see on screen, what I want to watch. I'm a
There you
big
go.
whodunit type of guy.
Yep.
I like those. I like the smaller settings with fewer people and just keeping you intrigued. Like that's
See, and
just
you join a local acting class too. There's your crew and there's your actors.
yeah,
Like that sometimes can happen.
yeah,
So
yeah,
look
definitely.
into it in your areas, wherever you're going to end up living, and
Yeah,
do that.
wherever life takes me.
Wherever you like takes you.
Oh man. Yeah. Wayne on here, he's saying Shakespeare, to be or not to be.
I'm terrible at Shakespeare. I'm terrible at that.
Yeah.
I'm terrible at the classics.
Yeah. Yeah. Me too. I mean, I have been considering getting back into it and everything. But I felt like that's one reason part of my move is because there are more people that are into YouTube. There's a lot of YouTubers, there's a lot of content creators out there in Dallas or in Texas in general. And just here, every time I try to talk to family or friends or anybody in this area, it's just like they don't understand it. It's just not their thing, and it's kind of hard to relate to them. So I guess I got to go and find my people.
You'll probably do what one of my friends did, and you'll be in Dallas for a year or two, and then you'll be like, fuck it, I'm going to LA. Oh, you might go to New York or something like that, where it's happening. There is definitely more happening in LA.
Yeah.
But I believe you can make just about any location work for you, but it just depends what you want to do. I mean, if you want to do animation and games, unfortunately you're gonna have to go to LA at some point, or figure out how to at least appear that you're working in it.
Yeah.
But yeah, you got that nice accent. Don't lose that. That's valuable.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah. And you've got the security training, so like that's valuable. I will never book cops or security guys. I don't have that vibe because I don't get it.
Yeah.
So you'll be those types.
Oh yeah.
I just had a drinks with a casting director, and she said the only thing actors really need to do is be good, and they'll get noticed, and it'll happen eventually. But so many actors don't do the training, don't put stuff out there, don't try to better their craft. They're all about the schmoozing and the networking and the social mediaing and the YouTube and all that they forget that they need to be a good actor and have great self-tapes and all that. And it's true. Once you do have a good self-tape, that casting director is going to remember you even if you didn't book it, and then keep pushing forward. But if you do acting, remember, I do about 100 auditions, mostly voiceover, a month, and I'll go months without booking a single thing. And my a 1% booking ratio now in our category is considered good. So yep. I got a friend. He's like, I've never booked a voiceover job. Well, have you done over 100 auditions? No.
Yeah. Keep pumping them out. Keep pumping them out.
Keep going. Keep going.
So you do enjoy it though. You love doing voice acting.
My job, my full-time job is going right back there into that booth and spitting out these free files all day long. I was in the middle of one when I was setting up for you.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, no, I get multiples a day, and I just got to turn them around and spit them out. And they're all over the place. They're mostly corporate pieces, ads, presentations, whatever. But once in a while, there's a promo, there's a trailer, there's games, there's animation's kind of rare these days for me. A lot of celebs get asked directly, so that one's gone down, but the other stuff's actually gone up. So it's my job is just giving out. I'm the guy at the mall giving out free samples. Here's a toothpick with a wiener at the end of it, and then if you actually go into the store to buy one, I win. But my job is just to hand out the free samples all day long. That's all I do. And marry a therapist so she can cover the bills when I don't book for a couple months.
Wow. Yeah.
Marry smart, kids. Marry smart, actors. Marry smart. Don't marry another actor. Don't fucking do that.
Yeah, somebody is spamming my chat right now.
Oh, what are they saying? I love listening to spammers.
Something naked, something, I don't know what the hell.
Ooh,
Yeah.
We're in.
So I
Let's
just
do
blocked
it.
him. So uh
Wow.
yeah. So I guess another thing that I would like to okay, so you voiced a villain. So you voiced the voice of Brandon James and
Mhm.
you've done all these zombie voices. Have you ever considered playing an actual villain on film? Like
Fuck
and if you and it
yes.
what would you want to be? Like what villain would you try to portray or try to be close to, or would you just do your own thing or
Oh, I would if they ever remake Fifth Element, I want Gary Oldman's role.
oh yeah,
If
that's a
they
good
ever
one.
remake that, I want that. That is kind of almost a little too close to home
Yeah.
because I get like destruction makes for a new. I get like destruction is profitable. I can see that side. And
Thanos.
I love playing I love playing the quote villain,
Yeah.
but little acting tip for everybody, villains don't think they're villains. Villains think they're the heroes. So
Right.
you cannot just play evil. And when I did the Scream voice, it was not to be evil. It was not to be scary. It was, I have an objective, right? So I would choose my objective. What do I need to do? What do I need this person to do? And I'm going to have fun while I'm doing it. And so it
Mhm.
became a cat batting the mouse around.
Yeah.
That's all I did in that show. Hey,
Yeah.
Emma, what are you doing today?
There you
Oh, you think you're going to the store, huh? Oh, no, you're not because you're on T-Mobile and that shit isn't going to work this day. Like that's all I did was toy with them. And
yeah.
then if I got foiled, then I had to have rage but contain it. And so I love the villains because they're actually the most interesting ones. They have the most unique perspectives, points of view. They're so much more fun to play.
Agreed.
So much more fun to play. I
Yeah.
played a guy in a short film where I had a suicide bomber vest on and I tortured a guy to confess, even though it wasn't real. That was incredible. That was an incredible experience. That was fun. Scream, the killer was good. Black Spidey, which was Venom Spidey in Web of Shadows. He was he was my favorite one to go to every time. Every
No.
time. So yeah.
No.
Yeah, they're just more interesting. They're way more fun. Way
Yeah.
more fun.
Oh yeah. Yeah, definitely.
I want to come back for another round of Scream, and I want to do it with Roger Jackson. And so there's two
Yeah.
different types of calls. But
You've
let's be
never have
honest,
you
if Scream continues, who calls anybody anymore? You got to be
yeah.
a scary text. I don't know how to do that, but it's got to be scary text and DMs.
FaceTime.
I made that joke all the time. I'm like, why are you still using me? These kids would not be calling each other. It would be text.
They'd be Snapchatting.
Just the phone ringing alone for millennials and Gen Z is enough. Like just the
Yeah.
phone ringing is like, no, just do
You can
what they
leave a
really
scary
do.
voicemail.
Scary voice.
Feel like I don't know when you're gonna hear this, but
Okay, putting into your voicemail again. Fuck. All right. Look.
Marquise in the chat says, Mike, did you do pranks on other people you know by using Ghostface voice?
I don't do it to other people. When I'm in that booth and I get a spam call,
Yeah.
I would say about a year, 2 years ago, I had a lot more success in getting an actual human, back on the line. Do you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Because they're all robotic and filtered. I had a lot more success. Now I can't get anybody. I can't get a live voice on the line unless I make the oldest person voice that I can. Otherwise, the phone spammers are so smart. There's a YouTube clip about this, about the 5 data centers in India that do them. They are so advanced. If you do not sound old enough, they hang up right away and go on to the next one. They want elderly people. And so I have to put on the, hello, what's going on? My phone's ringing. You just have to lure them in to then be able to fuck with them. So when I did lure people in, especially like the car warranty people and all that, I might have tried to start with Scream, but it was so unbelievable. It was so unbelievable I get hung up on. So I tried it a few times and it's like click and I'm like, fuck, and then back to my job, and so I couldn't do it. So what I started doing was playing dumb, right? Just a little like, oh, I don't know where I am. So it sounded a little old, but not quite. And then I would quickly, if I had them online, I would always go to my seemingly normal guy who reveals that he has a dungeon in the basement full of children and a van that he wants to rig up, a windowless van. Like, I would just go full on like guy trying to figure out how to be the creepiest molester ever for the phone spammer. Like,
Yeah.
that's always my go-to, is to see how far I can push this until they realize I'm talking about leather restraints and sex swings and like,
Oh my
like
God.
I just try to go as far as I can. I've posted a couple of them. I try really hard, but it's harder than ever to get through to them now. And I usually pretend I'm Mitch McConnell's son. That's usually kind of my go-to. It's fun when I can get through, but it's happening less and less. And if you don't want, I've learned this too. I had a guy get lippy with me. He was American. He had an American accent. And we got into it. And I learned that once you verbalize physical violence threat against them, which you can do, because when they call your cell phone, it's already illegal, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you can actually say, oh, I see you in your silver Toyota Corolla. I'm going to, pick the most common car or whatever, and just go, I'll be seeing you at lunch with a shotgun. Oh, you won't get a spam call for 2 to 3 weeks after that, because you will be put on a list like that if you threaten actual physical violence.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you can't get in trouble for it.
No, you cannot get in trouble for it. Absolutely not. And they're never going to report you, because what they did was 1,000% more illegal. What you did was satire, spoof, whatever. And the only way you're getting on that list is if you actually terrify them. And putting on a scary voice doesn't terrify them. They go, oh, it's some jackass trying to be funny. So little tip, if spam calls are really a problem, get one of your buddies to really get somebody on the line and really scare the shit out of them, because they are forced to hit that this is a dangerous person button. This is a dangerous person button. That is a button. I did telemarketing in college back in the early 90s. And you had even back then on our little green CTR screens, you had categories, and it was like hot lead, maybe, no, and dangerous. Like, do not call this person ever again, which was also the same button for their broker in bankruptcy. So it was just like the dead button. Yeah. You want to hit that. So I'm not getting a lot of calls, because I may have done the death experiment a couple times to see if it really worked. And they're very advanced in picking up who's old and who isn't. So, sorry, I'll try to get more prank phone calls going, but I just take them as I can get them. I don't reach out. I don't make the calls. I just receive them. Yeah. So if you want to call me and I fuck with you, sure, let's do it.
Hell yeah, man, that's awesome. They're cracking up in the chat.
I'm full of good advice today.
Yeah. With me trying to, pursue whatever I'm going to pursue, I guess I just need to get some cigars and kind of, like you said, and
keep your voice. You don't need mine. Keep your voice.
You don't think it'll make it a little better?
I like your voice. You sound young, and young is where it is at, and something with flavor. Listen, if you can throw away the Southern accent and do another accent, that's just your instrument expanding, right? It's giving you more versatility. But having your natural voice, don't ever be ashamed of your natural voice, guys. When everybody's like, oh, I got to change this, I got to change. No, you don't. Keep what you got. You'll get what you get. And, you could play, Southern security guard in TV shows for the rest of your life. And I think buying a house with that money would be good enough for you. You know what I mean? Like, dude, I'll play the killer. I will get stereotyped all day long. I don't care. If it pays the bills and I don't have to have a regular job,
right?
Fuck yeah. Typecast me. I don't give a shit. And then if I don't want to be typecast anymore, well, guess what? I have a cell phone and a Sony A6400. I can go make my own content and show people I can do something else too and expand on it.
Yeah. And you have a YouTube channel too, right?
I mean, it's there to show people my work. I throw random shit up there, but mostly it's so people can see my demos, and I host my demos and my work up there, and then my website grabs them and pulls it into the website. So that's all I'm really doing. I've had experiments on there. I experimented with a podcast early on when I first moved back to Portland. Didn't learn that learned that it's not what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
Then I experiment with little fun clips like reading my daughter kid books, and then me being the realistic dad who's like, that would never happen, no
Yeah.
imagination dad. I experimented with that. Just whatever. I'm just kind of like, kind of me figuring out what I want to do too when I have free time. The prank calls are up there.
Yeah.
But mostly it's just samples of my work because they're like, oh, what does this asshole do? It's like, oh, here you go. Oh, and my loop group. There's some clips from my loop group up there, which is really fun. Oh my God, that's fun. That's fun. Right. I'm going to make y'all, I'm not going to waste an hour explaining what it is. Y'all look up Rebel Loop, one word, one L, loop group. And then also Google loop groups ADR. And there's a couple good articles that pop up right away that explain what it is. And most of you guys are going to be like, holy shit, I want in. But you got to have improv and actor training to do it.
Okay. Yeah, I think I'm a little rusty, but I can get back into it. I have done some auditions, like just sending some videos, trying to get into some projects here that's being made locally.
Yep. If you get into acting, you don't ever stop training. It's just you just never stop.
Yeah.
I still take classes.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. That's awesome, man. That's awesome. Let's see here. I don't want to like close up close it down soon, but I have to go get my son soon.
Yeah.
But I didn't want to keep you over your time. I know your time's valuable and you probably got a lot of stuff.
What are we at? 2:28, 2:30?
Yeah, something like that. We've been going live for about an hour and a half.
Yeah. People are probably bored. Ask everybody in the chat. Are you guys bored? Do you guys want to know one last thing? Anything else? I talk way too much. I know I do.
No.
Thank you.
You do not talk too much. Actually, you have some really great insight and great stories. It's been great, man. I really, I mean, just talking to you. And speaking on that, I'm going to do my best to try to get you booked for at least Texas Frightmare.
Oh, don't kill yourself. Don't kill yourself. But if I get something great.
Yeah. But I'm about to reach out to the director over there, and I got all his personal info, and I was going to offer my help. So maybe I can throw you in there, and
you could just position it as, and look, I know how to get talent too. Hey, look at this. I got this jackass.
Yeah. And then I could be your assistant there at your booth.
You're going to be. I'm going to insist on it. That'd be amazing.
Cool. Yeah, it would. It would be great. Yeah. So I'll keep in contact with you, man, and we'll see what we can make.
Right
on. What we can do. Sound good?
On. Absolutely. I'm open. Whatever.
Okay.
Anybody else in other markets too? If you guys got a con that you want me to, I think video game and horror conventions are really the only ones I can do. Comic cons, I don't have that much animation.
Yeah, I've never been to a Comic Con,
so I don't know. It depends. It depends on the con, I guess. But I'm open to whatever.
Yeah. So before I let you go, is there anything coming up that you would like to promote or tell us to check out, or you're proud of that you can talk about?
Apparently, it's very helpful to get into these cons and book video game works if my Instagram numbers are high for some reason. So I promise my Instagram has awful, horrible photos of my kids, but there are other posts that I do that are pretty, I think they're funny. I'm getting funny again. I'm finding my groove back. It's _Mike_Vaughn, the Mike Vaughn with underscores between each word on Instagram. And then of course I'm not going to object to YouTube interactions. But Facebook blows. I don't do Twitter anymore, and I'm too old for TikTok and the other stuff. So let's just keep Instagram. If you guys subscribe or follow me on Instagram, I'd love you forever.
All right, we'll do.
Anybody who follows me on Instagram can DM me and I'll answer one question or send dick pics, whatever.
You heard it here. Destination.
They may not be my dick pic, but you get a dick
It'll be something. It'll be a Google dick.
Just a random screen capture.
Hold on, this ain't him.
Or my cat's butt. Just my cat's butt.
There you go. That's been great, Mike.
All right.
God, you really got me on that one. Oh man. So yeah, I hate to wrap it up, man, but I'm kind of
you got to pick up your kid.
Yeah, and I'll keep in touch. We'll email each other back. If you want any more of my personal information, you can have it too. And
Awesome.
I'll keep trying to do what I said I'll do with
Do what you
the
do.
convention.
Do it for
So
you. Do it for
yeah,
you.
man. Yeah,
All right.
man. And
Bye,
thank you for the
everybody.
advice. All right.
Woo!
Thanks, Mike.
See you guys.
Take it easy.
Bye.